episode of Team Huddle. My goodness, what a beautiful day to talk about volleyball, coaching, and just life in general with some of your best friends. I'm Jalen Holston, and along with me as always is Jared Schry, Keone McKeague, and Nolan Chang. How are we doing today, boys?
Hanging on a hangover, it's great.
We rolling.
We rolling, baby. Yes, well, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, we're going to get into some very fun stuff. Us volleyball nerds over the summer get blessed every single year with the Volleyball Nations League. We'll be talking about Team USA's performance, both women's and men's, and then just kind of some exciting matchups on the schedule that we got coming up. But first, as always, let's check in with our coaches, boys and girls. Jared, let's check in with you first, bud. How was your week? What's going on right now during the summer? I know it's kind of hodgepodge, a club this, some clinics here and that, and then high school stuff. But, you know, what do you got going on over there?
Right now, it's just finishing girls and boys club. So we have a tournament today for boys. I have a 2-day this weekend for my girls. So we'll see how that goes. Day one was Saturday. Saturday was not so good. We went 0-3, but we played well when we passed well. I mean, that's the story of every team, right?
Right. Yep.
We struggled in serve receive. I think it was like 12-12, 13-13 or something, or 13-12. The other team gets a side out. The girl goes on a 12-point run. Literally, wow. We could not side out. Both timeouts, moved the passing line, made adjustments, and I have like 3 outsides anyway. I can't make too many adjustments in that regard. I moved people around, and I'm just like, okay, well, hopefully this works. And I mean, she hit the tape twice, and then didn't really get outright aces, but when we did get a pass, we just give a free ball. My team's all of 5'7", across the board. Like that's my tallest player. They just set their tall 6-foot middle. End game.
Soft block it.
I mean, but we competed really well though. As we went through the tournament, even if we went 0-3, we played the best team first, and I mean, I had them outside for like 10 minutes and told them, I was like, don't be disheartened. I think that's the best team in our pool. And you guys competed with that team. So let's work moving forward. They came in with a little better spirits second and third. They ended on a good note, like literally endless hustle on the last like 5 points of the match. One of my girls ran into the bleachers. Another girl, they shanks it all the way to the right. Another girl just tries to put it over. I mean, it's a good way to end the game because at least, like they're fighting till the end. So hopefully they bring that same spirit to today's tournament. So we'll see how that goes. But for high school wise, we're in dead period, so I can't talk to any of my players.
Right.
CIF rows, can't do any of that. And so I haven't really been doing any privates or anything, but clinics, we should be having upcoming clinics and everything. But yeah, just gearing up for end of season girls soiree and then boys junior nationals and then the 2-week break that you always get and straight into high school girls. So
yep.
Yeesh.
Literally
right on in.
Literally what it is.
I think there's a break.
There's a little break there,
but there's
not really
going to
happen
happen
that way.
That's how it is for us too. It's just like you get done with everything summer wise, and well, not even summer wise. You get done with boys season. Like I got done with that in like kind of what was it, March, April, like kind of late April. Got into May. Automatically, I was doing my director stuff for club, coordinating all that kind of stuff, and then at the end of this month, bam, right into off season for girls and stuff. Monday through Friday, we're just kind of going down the line, and then boom, August happens, and here we are back in the full swing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's wild, man. Nolan, how was your week? How are you doing? How you feeling?
It's going well-ish, I guess you could say. So the tournament Jared has for his girls this weekend is the one I had for my age division last weekend, which is the 16s. 0-3 the first day.
Dear me.
It was all games lost in deuces, so it could have been completely different all the way around. So
you win in 2 or we lose in 2. That is the rule, ladies and gentlemen.
In between. But yeah, it was close games. I think definitely could have been better. Then there was some, drama that did happen with that team.
Oh dear.
I don't think they listened, so I'm just gonna say it. One of our players who I wouldn't even say didn't play much. She played a good half of the whole 3 games. Message us after the tournament ends, sorry guys, can't make it to day 2. On the way out of the complex, I tripped on a ball and rolled my ankle. And so we were like,
do
oh,
what now?
okay. Like,
What?
first of all,
How-
were you like skipping out of the arena, or how does
did
that work? So we're like, okay, take care of your ankle. We got 2 DS/liberos still available. We'll be okay. Come to find out, I asked the girls at our next practice this week. I was like, hey, did anyone check on her? How's her ankle doing? He's like, I don't know, coach, but she was on the beach on Instagram the day of our second day of tournament. I was like,
Oh, hell no. Oh, no.
hmm.
Oh, no.
And so the mom did say, like, oh, yeah, she's gonna miss practice this week or so to rest her ankle, because that's what the doctor said. And me and the head coach were like, well, because this is such a drastic ankle, why don't we have her bring a medical note to the next time she's available for practice, if it is that bad. And I don't think our head coach heard back from the parent in that regard. So we're gonna find out, because we all know how ankle rolls go. If
Mhm.
she's coming to practice in full sprinting, you didn't roll your ankle.
No.
There's no way.
You can't
So-
get past me of all people.
Can't get
You guys are gonna
I
get
know.
guidelines for
what
the
an
first
ankle injury is.
for the first week of that practice, huh?
stepping on a ball. Prove it. Here. Show me.
Hop
Show me
on
again.
one leg. But for the boys' side, we have our tournament today, this afternoon. So after this, I'm going to get ready and head on out there. Hoping for a better day than our last tournament. I think the boys are a little more determined this time around. But really, like Jared said, it's going to determine on, the passing. You pass well, you play well, right?
It's
We
usually
did
how
a
that
lot
goes,
of serve
yeah.
receive over the last couple weeks to hopefully get them prepped for it. But we'll find out today. If it doesn't work out, you'll hear me next week. But another exciting news, we are no longer going to be Forza 1 next year. A couple of the coach/directors are going to be starting up their own club. They already got all the business licenses involved in it. Pretty much have the name locked down. Starting summer camps for it. It'll be Crown City Volleyball or Sports Academy over in
You guys not
Pasadena.
going to be Forza 2?
Because really, Forza 1 originated in Temecula, and all we've really used from them is the name and the same jersey sets.
Yeah.
We don't get any assistance with like facilities. We don't get any like kind of club rollover clinics or anything like that. We pretty much just use their name, and it didn't seem to be really benefiting us in any way. So a couple of the coaches and directors decided, you know what, we're going to start our own thing over here, Pasadena, aka Crown City. That's what Pasadena is usually called, because like the Tournament of Roses, Rose Parade, all that good stuff. So they're going to start a sports academy, obviously focusing on volleyball first, because that's our bread and butter. And then the goal is to eventually move on, get our own facility, and expand it to like baseball, basketball, whatever kind of comes around the area, and make it a true sports academy. So very exciting stuff happening this summer. So once National ends in Salt Lake City this coming July, we are no longer Forza 1. And I had to
Wow.
burn all these shirts.
Wow.
Wow, that is a big
So you
change
said
and a
it's
flip over.
Burn them.
Crown Sports
Crowns.
Academy?
Yeah,
Crown
Ben?
City Sports Academy. We go Z2 Sports Academy, kind of.
Okay,
So it's
all
gonna be
right.
interesting.
He's like,
I like
the
it.
old
All
one."
right.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I like the old name better. No, I don't mind it. I think if you don't understand
That was so not a confident answer. Say it one more
So
time.
I'm just
Try.
like-
I'll give you another try.
because we told a lot of our teams this week, and a lot of them are like, Crown City, I don't get it. It's like, well, if you don't know Pasadena's Crown City, we're focusing on the Pasadena area. So, Crown
Gotcha.
City. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, a lot of club is marketing and stuff like that, and I'm learning that more as I do this director job. So I mean, we're St. Louis Crossfire Elite, but really most people know us as like the Wentzville kind of volleyball club. So we're trying to move and get that direction. But most clubs around here will have an STL tag because it is just kind of that notable thing to put in your brand and your marketing. Even though
Yeah.
I was starting one, like I wouldn't shy away from it. Like people have been asking for a Wentzville volleyball club or Wentzville, a club volleyball thing in that area. So like, I don't know why we're so hesitant to just be like, no, this is like Club Wentzville or something like that. I don't know. But anyway,
No,
Keone, how are the drunkards this week? How are you? How are they progressing? Have there been any improvements? Are we still not knowing what's going on?
We're getting drama in the.
Drama alert! Oh my!
Yep.
Yeah,
They
apparently
heard the last
after.
pod.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they do, but after the last one, apparently we lost another person from the team.
Oh, dear me.
Yeah, it's funny because this was something I was curious to talk about. I mean, if we have time today, maybe, but on another pod, if or another time, if anything, it's just kind of like that. I don't know if you've ever had dealt with somebody like, I don't know, maybe in an outside league in some sort of, fashion, kind of like how this is for me, like a work league technically. Or if you've ever had kind of the experience of where people like, I don't want to say like they, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it's more that it's like they've never really played a team sport or they've never been involved in sports like in their life growing up. So like when they do kind of this whole thing, it's like they don't really like get on the same page as everybody else on the team. Like for instance, for this league specifically, like my team, I'd asked them in the beginning of the year because I had the option of going to play for an open team with my friend or playing on this team, which is my shop, and it was technically a team that I started. So I was kind of like, I'll play with you guys, but only really if like we're trying to like win. You know what I mean? Like if we're trying hard and like everybody actually wants to win, because otherwise, I'll just play on the open team.
This ain't no
You
friendship
guys,
division.
you guys can play and like everybody can kind of like have fun together and do whatever like that. That's cool too. But I gave that option, and then everybody kind of was like no, we want to win this year because last year was a pretty bad year, and nobody wanted to do that again. So I just said, okay, well, if we're gonna actually like try to win this year, like I'll play a little bit more this year than I did last year, and we'll like actually like try to improve the team and try to see what everybody can do and all that kind of stuff. But then you got some guys who like just didn't get on the same page with everybody else for the whole season because like
Yeah.
everybody was basically like saying like, hey, we want to win this year, and then you got like some people who kind of weren't taking it that seriously, or some people who like don't really know like in these kind of sports, like obviously if you're not playing well, you don't play, or you know what I mean, like. So that's why I said it's kind of it's telling, for me personally, like kind of seeing somebody who's like that, because I just know that they didn't really play sports growing up. Because like me personally, I don't take a pride hit if I'm not playing, you know what I mean, like in, I don't know, softball or another sport or something else that I'm not necessarily like the best at. So it was one of those things that was kind of like, oh, okay, so you're not going to show up anymore. I mean, it's not really, just no sweat off my back. I'm not really, I don't really care that much. Like, if I'm being real honest, like you probably weren't going to play that much for the rest of the season anyway. So, I mean, thanks for your support.
Thanks for actually making it easier for us to
Yeah.
work.
I'm
and then-
Ron Burgundy.
Yeah. And then on top of that, everybody who's still there, it was like kind of like, they backed my decision, so that made it a little worse, I guess. But I just kind of said, like, I mean, if you really don't want to come support, and if you really are that hurt about not getting playing time, like, I mean, I don't really know what to do other than kind of just tell you, like, well, I mean, like, there ever anybody doesn't show up, like, you can jump in, or that kind of stuff. So I don't know. At the end of the day, it was kind of one of those things where like I felt bad, but at the same time, I was like, I mean, the goal is the goal. And I said, if I asked everybody and they told me something different, you know what I mean? It's all up in the air. Everybody can
defaulted
play.
to fun, but everybody said,
exactly.
let's
like,
win.
It's
so
very easy to switch that thing for me. So like I said, is like if that was the reason, but everybody seemed on board with what I did. So it was one of those things. I felt bad. Obviously, we still have to work with that person, so it got really, really awkward for the last few days and last week or so. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care. It's just like I was like, man, yeah, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, it happens, man. It's whatever.
But we won again. Just
hey. There you go.
That's what I said. I was like, clearly it worked. No,
there you go. Yeah. I mean, that's some good stuff. A little bit of turmoil, but sometimes, you get the coal ground down far enough, you find a diamond, right? It's just kind of is what it is. But as far as my week goes, we just started open gym stuff for the new boys side of my club. So it's been pretty fun to kind of see what comes in the door. Our 15s and 16s, I think both nights last week we had about 18 kids. 17s, 18s was much lighter. I think I had 7 to 9 walk through the doors, about half. But that's pretty typical for 18s. You really won't see them until tryouts because they're, doing whatever, or they're at another club already. So not a big deal with that. And I got some clinics going for my other high school boys stuff this week. And then we got preseason starting for girls. So that's pretty good stuff. But on to the big topicino, Volleyball Nations League. Yes, for the United States. In case you are unaware somehow and you're listening to this podcast as a volleyball person, every summer our national teams compete in a tournament called the Nation. It used to be like World League, or maybe that's a different one, but it's now called the Volleyball Nations League. And essentially, it's another tuner for Olympic cycles. These tournaments are important because they help determine how many points that you get going into an Olympic cycle to get your seed and all that. So especially, I think, because this is the preceding year for Paris, this is a big one. So we do actually need to place well in order to help ourselves out in Paris. And so for the women's side, I put the rosters in the Discord, gentlemen. I don't know if you've taken a gander. There were some very notable players coming back for the women's team, including 8 Olympians that were on the team. Were there any that stood out to you as some of your favorites that you remember from the gold medal team from Tokyo or whatnot? Jared, I'll start with you. If there were any notable players that you remember that you're excited are back for our girls team.
No, you only put the men's one.
I put the women's one in there too.
Okay.
It's
right
in there.
Gotcha.
Blind? Come on now.
I am blind. Notables. You want the returners, or you want just in general?
I just in general from your your favorite, because there are a lot of returners coming back from that gold medal team from Tokyo.
I mean, the returners are all expected.
Right.
The ones that are there that I like. I'm gonna say I'm a huge fan. Morgan Hens, when she was at Stanford, dude, baller libero by far. The fact that they have Micah setting, which is nice. I guess because I got to watch a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Micah and Lauren, that's supposed to be their 2 go-tos, right? Basically.
Yep.
But I know Jenna's on the roster as well. I like Catherine Plummer a lot. I liked her, like I said. So when Stanford had that run, it was literally Plummer and Hens that was kind of the reason why you watched it, even if, Jenna did set that offense.
Mm-hmm.
And their middles are so interesting because they have so many new but good middles.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's no real one favorite that I'll say I have, but in general, I like how they're giving a lot of different looks in the general love of that for the women's side. And of course, you gotta always shout out Justine. She does her thing, I mean, we know the family and she's come a long way, right? Not making that first team to putting in the work, going overseas, and now she's doing that Love VB thing, as well as putting in work in the gym, and that got her playing time last year and got her gold medal. So
yeah,
I mean, having 2 solid liberos like that in her and Morgan Hens, I mean, that's gonna be key to their backcourt. And Hens has done some great things already in the VNL already that you got to watch a little bit of it. So I think that'll help really settle down.
Yeah, absolutely. Keone, any notables? I mean, I don't know how much you've paid attention to. Should I skip you? We're going to skip Keone.
Like, well, you almost said me first, and I was like, please do not. I was like, they all just look so fantastically talented. It's insane.
I got you, Keone.
Little blanket statement for Keone that he approves of all the candidates. Okay, on to Nolan Chang.
Through the roster, and I was like, I know.
Nobody. I don't really follow the girls' side too much. Sorry, focusing on my camera. But the men's side, I've kind of like in the same vein as Jared. All the notable names are returning. I do think TJ DeFalco actually kind of has taken a big step up, playing pro a little bit more. Obviously, you have Micah back, kind of taking the hands. Matt Anderson there as that leader. I don't know if he's still kind of got it, but he's still one of those vets that kind of just gets it done. He's there year in, year out.
He was balling.
He was looking pretty good. He's older now, but I mean, he
was in the libero jersey the first match,
Yeah.
Nolan cheated. He went straight to the guys. I could have.
I know you went straight to the guys.
We were talking about the girls.
Oh my
side.
God!
Wow,
well, then
what
pause
a
it
cheater!
there. I am excited to see Micah as well. I like her setting. I like her choices. I
There
do
you
think
go.
she is way better than Lauren Carlini. I know a lot of people were hyped on Lauren. I was kind of on that train as well when she came out of Wisconsin, but like when she got to the international game, you could tell there was a gap, and she still hasn't quite she still has not figured out that connection between how you set in college and being that flashy style swag player to like you have to be so efficient all the time and every single point matters. And I think that's what's keeping her on the bench. And I think, that's where she might stay, especially when kids like Micah come in the gym and they just start, wheeling and dealing a little bit. I will say I am also intrigued with our middle selection. It doesn't hurt to have one that's 6'8". That is absolutely astounding. When I saw that girl, I was like, oh my Lord. Oh man. But I'm also a big fan of Kelsey Robinson. Well, I guess Robinson Cook now because she got married
Robinson
this summer. She's just fantastic. I love watching her play outside, dude. She passes well. She plays defense, and then when it's big momentum time and we need a big rip, like she does not there's no hesitation. She gets she sees blood and she goes. So she's one of my favorites coming back from that gold medal team for the women. So
that's not the only reason why she's your favorite, man. Come on, let's be real.
Who?
That's not the only reason why she's your favorite. Come on, man.
I mean, yeah, listen, good for her. You know what I mean? But just saying, a rebound right here. I got you, Kelsey. Anyway,
could have been Kelsey Robinson Holston, but
exactly.
whatever.
No, somebody had to be all fancy. Currently, I believe we are undefeated heading into tomorrow's match against Croatia. Oh wait, no, we didn't.
The women's.
The women's, yeah.
Didn't they draw? No, they won. Sorry, they're
no,
undefeated.
yeah.
They're undefeated.
They've gone 5 a lot because we are working on a lot of young kids, including a younger setter who I will say I like what I'm seeing so far. I think as a taller option, she's blocking really well. She's got good selection, but the reason we're going 5 is some of her side out efficiency is not quite there yet. But that's all due with time, as we all know. But 5, 1-5 against Serbia, 1-5 against Italy, 3-0 Korea, 1-5 against Turkey, and then we'll see how we do against Croatia tomorrow. And that's the women's side of the VNL. So now if we want to talk about the men's side, Nolan, were there any notable people that you wanted to mention that are coming in for the men's roster in this current iteration of VNL?
I said my piece already.
What, Taylor Sander? No. You said Taylor
Right.
Sander? No.
It is a big changing of the guard on the men's side, though. I will say, because we have now moved on from Taylor Sander as he's done his now AVP career, and he's doing great with Taylor Crabb. So we are kind of looking for that replacement because he was such a big part of this team for so long. And I think getting Aaron Russell back healthy is huge. I to this day I attest that if we had him, I think it was which one was he hurt in? Rio or Tokyo?
Tokyo.
I think it was Tokyo. If we have him in Tokyo, we medal easy, and it's not close.
Yeah.
Dude's just so efficient everywhere.
I mean, he's 6'9". He helps.
Yeah, right.
He's big. He's
helps.
off the bick. I mean, the first match in the VNL, he literally closes 2 games on the bick.
Mm-hmm.
That's
exactly. It's huge. So
big presence.
Always a fan to see Micah. I love that dude. Sets like a wizard. He does some absolutely ridiculous things that shouldn't be physically possible when it comes to setting a volleyball. Like I think he had one against Canada last night that I absolutely just like. There was no way that's not how that works. But he's just out here like it's fine. You know what I mean?
Just another day.
Yeah, no big deal, guys. Cash and checks. All right.
Yeah, it's stupid.
He's so stupid.
It's stupid, bro.
But Jared, anybody else that you had noted from the roster that you're excited to see come back?
I am excited to see Michael Maha come back.
Micah Maha on the roster was a shocker
Michael Maha on the
too.
roster.
I thought he was done.
I thought he was done with USA Volleyball.
Yeah.
When I was kind of talking to him, when I got to see him, we were kind of talking a little bit about that and whatnot. But yeah, it's nice to see because he's been playing overseas. He's been putting in work. I know he's been doing a lot of the auto system work, but that's why he's not traveling with them for the auto system this year.
Yeah,
because he's doing that, So notables coming back as far as like people like Kyle Russell as an opposite.
Yeah.
Being able to see Jake Haynes play in this first VNL wave. And on side note, Micah's setting today against Brazil.
He is setting. Okay.
He's starting against starting against Brazil. Good to see Josh in the lineup. I know he was coming off that injury. And then you go to the youngs. Like, good to it'll be interesting to see Mason Briggs because he's playing behind D'Agostino and
Yes.
everything, you know.
Yeah.
But to add another libero, because Shoji, even though he's as efficient as he is, we're not getting any younger. To be real
No.
about that. And then you have kids like Cody Kessel. To see some of the Penn States, the UCLA's on this young roster, the UCI, Sani. I mean, there's a lot of big young names that are coming out of the college world that are in this 30-man roster, which is beautiful. And we'll shout out the Hawaii big man of Pat Gassman. I mean, dude, I played against that guy. He's huge. He's big.
Yeah.
He hits the ball with some thump. So my only question to him is gonna be like, he's 6'10", so it's great, but his side to side mobility might be not as good as like a Max Holt or David Smith or like even a Taylor Avra, who's considered undersized. I mean, Avra's been kind of killing it as it is in the looks that he gets. I think him and Max Holt are starting against Brazil today as well, so it should be interesting. I think they're resting Anderson. I think the lineup today is Ma'a, Haynes, Holt, Avro, Del Falco, and Russell. I think they're the two big outsides,
Falco and
and then
Russell,
Shoji at the libero. So it'll be
Interesting.
good. But Brazil just coming off a big loss to Cuba in 5 that went 2018
that
or
was
something.
wild, huh?
That was a wild match. I got to see like the highlights and whatnot of it. Brazil been struggling a little bit. They're not looking
How
as
old
clean
is
and
Shoji
crisp
now?
as they use. Shoji
is
About the same
well,
age as Micah,
Micah's
right?
age?
Like
He's
right
right
around
around
30.
No,
He's a little
he's
younger.
a little older.
I
I think he's
I
a
thought
little
he's
older.
older. Yeah.
Thought he
I
was
want to
younger
say
than
he's
Micah.
like
I don't know. Let me see if I can click on
he
his.
might be like 31, 32. Because Micah's my age.
I
Because
almost
he's the
want to say
same
he's
year as me and Kuji.
Wait, Micah's 2010,
11.
Micah's
He's
2011.
Kuji's
Yeah.
year.
2011. So Shoji's 2008. Puno.
Oh, okay. So I was saying because I think he's a
3
year
years,
older than
3
me.
years.
So okay, yeah. I was like, that
He's
makes
3
sense.
years.
So he's definitely like 33, 34
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
there.
He's up there. He looks
Yeah.
young.
That's
But
why I
as a
said
libero, I mean, Sergio played
so
well into
good,
his
yeah,
40s. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
I mean,
And it was still just as efficient, and they play the game. I mean, it's your serve receive, and defensively, you just got to be able
Yeah.
to read, get hit, and give a good out of system ball.
Well, the only reason
Right.
I was saying is because I feel like at some point they have to like find his next guy and kind of get him in there. So I do think it's interesting that he's just. I mean, he's timeless, but I mean, like eventually
Yeah.
they're gonna have to find the next guy after him. So
and
I mean,
I have a
shout
hot
out to that
take, and I
dude.
know this might upset the Hawaii boys, but I do feel like we have a better option than Eric Soji at libero. That it feels like a lot of these games sometimes like the ball finds him, and like he doesn't make a ton of errors. It's just like when he does get aced for some reason, Eric Soji to me just like it's like the worst timing possible. But like 3 plays before, he stuck an arm out and did a perfect 3 pass on a dig to Micah in transition. You know what I mean?
Who
But
do
yeah,
you
like
think
I
is
said,
the next better?
no idea
libero?
because we really don't switch liberos out that often on the national team. 'Cause you
On
gotta pass
that
him.
level
You know what I
of
mean?
play.
Yeah,
I think
you gotta
that
pass
was
him. He's
kind
our
of the
best
point I was
libero
getting
bastard.
at.
Yeah.
Is like eventually they have to like put somebody in there just to see like how they might do and how the chemistry is, because obviously like he's fantastic, but I mean eventually he's gonna slow down, and like you said, even though he probably play into his 40s, like I feel like eventually you're gonna want him to not be still playing, even if he still can technically. Like I
No,
don't know.
he's a great option for us right now. I think that he's got good chemistry with everybody, obviously because he's been there. But I do feel like there's probably a libero that will shock and awe us more than Eric did when he got on the scene and whatnot. I don't think it's Mason Briggs either. I love Mason. Don't get me wrong. I think that kid is.
I love Mason.
He's funny,
but I don't think
it's
him.
as much as
Maybe
Dustin Watton might
D'Agostino.
want it to be.
You know who's funny is Merck out of Penn State.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I kind of like him. Like
I like
think
him a lot,
he
too.
could be something special. That national development team that went where are they? Cuba.
Yeah.
I think they're in Cuba.
The
they just
U21 or
they just silver
whatever. Yeah.
medaled. They just silver medaled. I think they lost in 5 to Cuba in the final.
Damn.
But I think he was one of the liberos there, and like from little things that I got to see, like I mean, when you watch him play at Penn State, he was a good libero there as well. So, I mean, it could be a nice option as well coming in.
A lot of passes getting stuck by that man, I think, during those Hawaii games, from what I recall, and they were not easy serves.
he was the reason why they kind of won the first match. You know, he did a lot of good things there.
Keone, any notables or favorites from your point of view when you look at this men's roster for VNL 2023?
Yeah, it's funny because I was just kind of looking at like the younger guys who I recognize. Like obviously, there's like Josh Tuininga, you got Michael Ma'a, like two names that really stuck out to me personally. It'll be interesting because they are both setters. So obviously, there's different ways you can run them in there and all that kind of stuff. I think Josh kind of used to be able to like hit really well. I'm not, too keen on him now or either of them right now. But the one thing I thought was super, super interesting was kind of Michael Ma'a's like transition. I don't know. It's funny because part of me is a little sore on Micah because I don't know if you guys, yeah. Jared knows like why, but yeah. So like a long time ago, he used to be at Kamehameha, and there was like all this like hype with him, like hopefully getting into high school and playing with Christensen kind of at the tail end of his years there, and then he transferred to Punahou. But yeah, I mean it was a sore subject. Yeah, it was a sore subject then, but obviously congratulations to him because I think it ended up being a lot better for him for a couple of different reasons. Obviously, playing with a guy like Michael Christensen can be daunting. We just talked about how beautifully perfect those damn sets are. So that's one of those things. And the other thing I think too is him kind of being able to run a system that was his own over at Punahou. So shout out to him. I think it's just great to see that he's still playing. Obviously there are a lot of names on here that I'm not entirely familiar with, but like I said earlier, it is interesting to see that like guys like Shoji are still going. Christensen obviously still going. Obviously, like the rest of those guys, Matt Anderson, all of them still going. But eventually, I'm curious to see who's going to be the next kind of crop of young guys. I'm pulling for those two names that I had mentioned already. And I'm just kind of curious to see what happens in the next coming years. So it'll be very, very interesting to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I think our middles are probably the strongest core that we've ever had in some time here, ever since Dave Lee departed the team. Because I think Max Holt has obviously, now that he's the KG veteran and not the young guy anymore, he can serve now. He can block. He blocks well. He runs in transition well with Micah. And then right behind him, you have Dave Smith, who's even more of a veteran than he was, sitting behind Dave Lee for many, many years. And then following him, you got Jeff Jendrick, Taylor Averill. So we are good to go out of the middle position. I feel like we have a lot of flexibility there for size. And if there's a team that's more speedy, we can run, Averill and Smith. Or if there's a team that is like a Russia or something, we run Jendrick and Holt just because they're bigger. So I think our middles, is probably the biggest thing, along with some of our serve receive stuff is going to be super strong for us this season. But and then the men's schedule recap, as least matches that have happened so far. We have 3-0'd everybody, and we will see how we finish up against Brazil today. Actually, that match I think it's live right now.
It's on right now.
I try not to spoil it for anybody, and we'll catch that after this. But 3-0 against the Netherlands. I think we look really streaky at times from the games that I have seen, which is pretty typical when you're working in young kids, right? We get leads and then we kind of fall asleep and then we wake back up again, but looked really good. A 3-0 against Italy, which is definitely rebuilding their roster. It's very young. What's that setter's name that's on Italy? Shoot. I am totally blanking on it right now. No Zaitsev anymore. He is retired from the national team for Italy. But yeah, and then Canada, a really competitive 3-set match from Canada. I think that coach has really gotten that team to a different level than where they have been from the national team standpoint. A lot better than the guy that was in there from Trinity Western, at least the last cycle that I saw. Clearly, they didn't like what they saw from management, and so they made a change, and it looked like it was doing really well because they were scrappy, they were aggressive at the net, and they played really well against us. But yeah, obviously it's the big coveted matchup, USA versus Brazil. Everybody knows it doesn't matter what roster is out there for either team, it's going to be spicy. So I can't wait to go tune into that match for sure. But yeah, that's about all we got for Team Huddle today. Just wanted to run through the VNL, do our recap and all that, and we'll keep you updated. Obviously, this is going on through the summer, so we'll let you know how Team USA is doing from both men's and women's. Give your insight and stuff, and then of course we'll have topics and things of that nature. And hopefully we'll get our first guest coordinated here fairly soon. It's in the works, guys. We got a lot of stuff cooking. We got two guys
I have a
ready to go. Hot
hot
take?
take for the VNL right now. You know
Oh.
who's looking really good? Is Japan.
Japan's looking disgusting, and I
watched
Holy
I got
cow.
to watch a lot of their matches, see what they're doing. I mean, I know they're running a lot of the same lineup, probably only really interchanging their middles,
Yep.
if anything. But I mean, that team just looks like a so well-oiled machine. Like
they do.
they're always in
They
system.
look
They're always
so
scrapping.
well-oiled.
Japan,
Calm down over there.
It's like that
Calm
team
down
they
over
just
there.
looks so well-oiled.
Why are you so weird
What is
about
wrong
this,
with
kid?
Grow
you?
up,
Said it.
Coyote.
God,
to
Keon.
sleep.
Rolling
Go to
laugh
sleep.
first.
But I
Gosh.
agree. Like, if you need a tutorial on what a defensive volleyball team should look like, look up Japan. Like, I steal a lot of their stuff from my Holt girls. I steal a lot of the Korean stuff from that because, I mean, they understand how to just make you frustrated and never let a ball die. They pass dimes. They don't get aced very often. If they do, my eyebrows raise because it just doesn't happen. Like, they know they have to pass perfectly and outdig you and then serve like absolute madmen back there for them to have any chance at winning at this level.
Well,
because of their
Nishikawa and
size.
Takahashi are like crazy on the pin and out of the back
Yeah.
row as well. Like I got to watch I don't remember who they were playing, but Takahashi literally took it to them.
Yeah.
Like just from the back row, from the service line, from everywhere. And like you always only hear about Ishikawa and Nishida.
Right.
Like, those are the two
Usually.
that you
Yeah.
always only hear about. And then to see him kind of making a name for himself here, I mean, it's kind of been that second unknown outside. So I'm excited to see what Japan does with the rest of their summer, I would say, because it's just the
Yeah.
first round, you know.
I'm interested to
So-
see what they're, when they do the reseeding for the Earth, they repool teams after the first round robin. So I'm interested to see if they get into a different pool with some stronger competition, what happens. But I think they've looked really good as well. So, but yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, if you want to talk to us about the VNL or just volleyball in general, we're on the internet, believe it or not. And you can find us on various social media platforms. Jared, where can people find you?
I am on Instagram and Twitch at jshirai, JSHIRAI, and on Twitter at jshirai808.
And Keone?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at Kayonee. That's KAYOHKNEE.
And Nolan Chang.
You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at NolanKYT, NOLANKYT.
And you can find me on Twitter at Jalen Holson. You can find me on Instagram at ArtByJalen. You can find me on Twitch at MochaThanos_LGG. That's going to do it for Team Huddle today, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoyed the episode. I've been me, you've been you, and from all of us here at Poi N Soy, good vibes and love, everybody.
Good vibes and love, everybody.
Bang, bang.
Shoots.